Welcome back to another edition of the Disney Dish Podcast with Jim Hill. It's me, Len Testa, and this is our show for the week of October 7th, 2019. On the show today, the news, and Jim and I review Epcot's new nighttime show, Epcot Forever. And speaking of Jim, let's bring in the man who says that Socrates' last words were probably, "I drank what?" It's Mr. Jim Hill. Jim, how's it going?
What a lot of folks don't know about was what happened next. After Socrates drank that draft of poison, he was then forced to get up and walk around till his legs felt numb.
I knew this, actually. All right, go ahead.
Today, this particular punishment is known as death by Epcot.
You drink something, you walk around till your legs feel numb.
You always have to be a little careful during food and wine. You know, it's just a craft beer with only a hint of hemlock.
I've been in Epcot, walking around Epcot for the last 5 days, kind of looking at the construction, and we'll talk about it. But
okay, well, maybe we should have offered you the hemlock.
My feet ache with an inner sadness, Jim, that I can't express in words. My feet are hurt. Anyway,
okay.
We'll talk about it. Most of the show is going to be about Epcot. All right, Jim. And speaking of Epcot, let's do a shout out to subscribers over at disneydish.bandcamp.com. Thanks to new subscribers Ali E, Brian W, and Johnny Champagne, and longtime subscribers Jaka M, MM at Sarah Lawrence, and Whimsy for You. Jim, these folks are the jet ski drivers who pull those glowing on-fire kites around World Showcase Lagoon for that new Epcot Forever show. And let me tell you, Jim, every one of them look dashing in their wetsuits.
They also are very darkly dressed, aren't they? I mean, you could barely
They're all
see
wearing... Yeah, what could go wrong, Jim, with wearing black on jet skis at night, pulling kites around a lagoon with 5 other people doing the same thing? What could possibly go wrong? I don't know.
I hear the lawyers drafting the notice now.
the lawyers are typing like this right now, getting the complaint ready.
Yeah.
Right? You know that the job interview first question is, tell me about your life insurance. You have family, you have next of kin. You just write it down here on the paper. No reason why. Also, I want to point out that Johnny Champagne is going to be my stage name for my next punk rock band.
That is a great name. Wow.
That is a great name. Yeah. All right. Let's do the news, Jim. The Disney Dish News, folks, is brought to you by Storybook Destinations, trusted travel partner of the Disney Dish podcast. For a worry-free travel experience every time, book online at storybookdestinations.com. Jim, I filed this first news item under the category, it's fine. Everything is fine. It's all fine. Jim, it's not even open yet, and Disney has announced 40% discounts at the Riviera Resort, which opens December 16th. 40% off, Jim. What is going on here?
Let's start at the top, Len. This is the 15th DVC. It's the very first one that's built on the grounds of a Walt Disney World monorail. So Disney found themselves in a situation where they described where it was, and there was this slight hesitation. So the belief this time out, coming on the heels of what just went over at Coronado Springs. You know, you launched a brand new, beautiful, elegant hotel over there, basically in the same window of time. So they kind of need to prime the pump here. They need to let people know how truly elegant a Disney resort that's themed around the European Riviera can be. Once people get into this thing, those prices aren't going to last. The Riviera is going to become a hot resort as people begin to get really aware of the Skyliner and what a boon it's going to be for when the 50th anniversary happens, and it's like, hey, I can step out the door of my hotel, I can get on the Skyliner, I'm in the back door at World Showcase, I'm in the heart of the party in seconds. This is a property that things are going to happen. It's a tougher launch than I think Disney had anticipated, though.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, which explains its discounting.
I've heard from people that, let's say in Disney vacation sales, external Disney vacation sales, so travel agents, I've heard from some of them that Disney's quietly reaching out to them to ask why they think their clients aren't booking the Riviera.
The note I got back is when they explain where it was, right next to the Caribbean. And it's like, oh, it's a moderate.
It's adjacent to Aruba, right?
Yeah. But it's one of these things where people need to experience and then evangelize. That'll help put this out. But in a lot of ways, this was the hotel that was built to capitalize on the 50th anniversary. I mean, remember that rooftop restaurant that looks down into Epcot for the show? So
Topolino, right?
Yeah. So
Topolino Terrace, yeah.
In hindsight, maybe Opening the Riviera 7 months out might not have been the smartest idea.
Is this the first Disney Deluxe adjacent to a Disney Moderate?
I want to say yes.
I mean, would you say that the Wilderness Lodge is adjacent to Fort Wilderness?
I think that would be kind of a push to say that. If we're talking about Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge.
Oh, right. Yeah. That'll be the other one, yeah.
I had heard on the heels of the issue with the launch with Disney's Riviera Resort that they're already having some discussions about it. When we get ready to launch that one, we really need to be able to differentiate here.
Yeah.
This is special. This is unique. And you don't walk out the door and there's a campsite right next to you.
Right. And I think the good news is that nobody thinks of Fort Wilderness as just a campsite. I mean, it's not a trailer park.
No,
right?
No.
So you're not going to, okay. In going over the Skyliner, over the Caribbean Beach and the Riviera, the decor of Aruba, the color scheme sort of matches French Riviera. I don't know that necessarily matches exactly what Disney's done with the Riviera, but if you think of like from the ground level how the French Riviera looks from a boat, for example, the color scheme isn't that different.
No, it
right?
isn't.
It might go, yeah.
If you go over the promotional material for the Riviera Resort, the word grandeur gets thrown around a lot. Just to step from Aruba, which is a beautiful moderate hotel. The fact that they're side by side, there's kind of a peanut butter and caviar thing going on here. That
I think that's exactly it. It's a peanut butter and caviar moment.
Yeah.
That's a good way of saying it. Speaking of the Skyliner, Jim, I did a little more writing on the Skyliner this week. So keep in mind, this was the first few days after it opened. There are definitely still some operational issues to be worked out. I will say the views are good. If you're at Aruba, you can use the Riviera station. It's open now to get around. And then even during the day, wearing shorts, there's still enough airflow to cool the cabin. I will say that Disney kind of lucked out this week because humidity is relatively low in Central Florida. So it doesn't feel as oppressive as it is. Again, they're working through some things, but the concern that we had about heat, I think, is not yet been experienced. I will say this, the line stops a lot more frequently than I thought. I did a round trip between International Gateway and Caribbean Beach, and it stopped 9 times on that road. The round trip took 90 minutes. 30 of that was waiting in line to board, so 10 at International Gateway and 20 Caribbean Beach. And again, it's super popular right now, so there are people who are riding just to ride.
Yep.
But still, the route should have taken 27 to 30 minutes round trip if everything worked perfectly. Even with 30 minutes of waiting in line, that's 30 extra minutes of delays from those 9 stops.
Yikes.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
We also did some capacity checking during the first week of operations, trying to figure out how many cabins are dispatched out every hour. And so what the ride's theoretical hourly capacity is. So we measured in 10-minute increments over 4 hours. The highest number of cabins dispatched in 10 minutes was 67.
Ooh.
That works out to at 10 people per cabin, around 4,000 people an hour. The lowest number of cabins dispatched in 10 minutes was 20. So 1 every 30 seconds. That's an hourly capacity of around 1,200 people. There were a lot of line stops. That's not good. But overall, it averaged around 300 cabins an hour, or around 3,000 people an hour if the cabins are filled. However, the cabins are not filled. They seem to be averaging around 6 or 7 people per cabin. So based on everything in the real world thus far, they seem to be averaging anywhere from 1,800 to 2,100 people an hour. So call it 2,000 right now.
Okay.
They need to get that number up closer to 3,000. The other thing is the pop line. So Art of Animation and pop to Caribbean Beach was down most of the day on Sunday, or much of the day, along with lots of issues on the International Gateway line. From what I understand, there are technicians on site from the manufacturer to sort of work through these things. And again, it's going to be expected for the first couple of weeks. If they're having these problems in November, I would be a little more concerned. But for now, not bad. I will say this one thing, though, because this question came up. I've got 2 of this exact question in email, so I thought I'd bring it up on the show. And the question came from female visitors traveling alone. And the question was, could you find yourself in a cabin with all men in the cabin by yourself? And specifically, one question was, after Food and Wine, is it possible for me to get stuck in a cabin of drunk men? And the answer is yes. They mix people in. So the line separates when you load into 2 lines, and they take some people from one group and some people from another. It's entirely possible you could get mixed in with, as they say, drunk frat boys. If that's the case, If it looks like it's going to happen, just tell the CM you're going to take for the next cabin and move back in line.
Okay.
That's what I do.
That's the advice that Karen and Georgia give over on the My Favorite Murder podcast. That basically it's F politeness.
Just say no.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying no. I'll get on the next one, right?
There
Absolutely.
You go.
I would probably not get on in a cabin full of drunk frat boys after Food and Wine.
Well,
either.
that's because you value your shoes, Len.
Exactly. I don't want to smell you. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to look at you. Just leave me. Anyway, speaking of things to look at, I was also, again, walking around Epcot a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They have brought out the construction walls and heavy equipment and the demo equipment at Epcot, Jim.
Yeah. We were just watching a video yesterday about this, and it's like, given all the walls, you really need little bits of cheese to find your way through some of these areas.
That's actually pretty funny. They should do that. Yeah. This is like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, but with, Actually, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very much
There's
so.
a joke in there somewhere. We have to do that.
Who was the genius who decided that the construction walls would all be painted flat black in Florida? You want stuff that's going to retain heat in Florida. That's a great choice.
I think as you walk by, it's like you're a mobile rotisserie chicken. That's what I was going with. Keeps in the theme.
Okay.
No? Yeah. Like the strange part is when they now when you enter in the Epcot entrance, they douse you with poultry seasoning. It's very strange. It's like, what is this? Pixie dust? No, wait, that's parsley. Wait, what is that? Is that garlic?
Just continue to rub this on and go through our complimentary hot butter glaze.
I was going to say, the water misters have been replaced by margarine, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I also, speaking of food, and I don't know why we're recording this at lunchtime. I'm starving. But I also continued eating around World Showcase. Two things I want to call out. Brazil's booth, which is between Belgium and France, has a cheese bread that's really, really good. It's 2 pieces of bread with cheese sort of baked in. It's about the size of large dinner rolls for around $4.50. You will fight your family for these. Brazil also has a crispy pork belly with black beans, tomato, and onions. $6. It's really good. It's very rich, but the black beans and the onion and the tomatoes, sort of the citrus and the acid from the acid from that sort of balance it well. I liked it a lot. Also, and I know this isn't high concept or anything, Jim, but Italy's got 3 crispy chicken tenders with marinara sauce. It's really tasty. For $6, it's a really good kids meal. And so I encourage this. The lines are fairly long, which means it's popular. But still, I think it's it is really one of the tastier things in this part of World Showcase for Food and Wine. Another thing I was surprised at was, and this has got to be a Food and Wine thing, but Italy's not running their single slice pizza window after 7 o'clock. And I'm thinking it's got to be so people go to Food and Wine booths.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how the accounting of that works.
I think you've nailed it in one, Len. Put them back into play. Send them out.
Exactly. All right. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the new Epcot Forever show that debuted, well, technically yesterday, since we're recording this on Wednesday. We'll be right back, folks.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
This episode is brought to you by CBS. DMV is a brand new workplace comedy turning misery into magic and chaos into comedy. Starring Harriet Dyer and Tim Meadows, DMV is here to serve you laughs. Watch Mondays at 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
All right, Jim, I was in Epcot yesterday to see the debut of Epcot Forever. And by the way, I managed to hold it mostly together for the end of Illuminations. It was good, but we focused on Illuminations enough. Let us now look towards the future and Epcot Forever. I will say this. While I was waiting for this show, apparently I was talking loud enough that people recognized my voice. And again, I apologize to anyone who was around, but a lot of Disney Dish listeners came up in not only when I was waiting for the show, but in my walk around World Showcase. So shout outs to Steve, Christine, Dan, Chris, Sue, Brian, Teresa, Lucas, and Mike, and all of their families for stopping to say hey. It was great to hear from all y'all. Hope to see you again soon. So like I said, I stood in Italy to watch. Italy's a great viewing spot. One of the interesting things about this show, as opposed to Illuminations, is there's no focal center point on the line. There's no globe. that you have to watch.
Yep.
Right. So as a result, most things happen in the air and high enough to where you could be in many more places around World Showcase Lagoon and see the show. Right. So you don't finding a really, really good spot like the bridge between France and the UK Pavilion isn't nearly as important for this show as it was for Illuminations. So that's really, really good. So if you're looking for a spot, most of the places around World Showcase where you can see up without a tree in front of you will be fine. Like there's many more good spots in Germany. There are spaces along the walkway between China and Germany. Many more good places to watch than before. So good.
Okay. Cool,
By the way, did you watch the live stream?
I did. You know, Nancy and I fired it up, and I want to say this about the Disney Parks Lives host. It's like, you should stop at the 15th cappuccino. They were really amped. I mean, it was like, oh my God. You know, it was one of these things where it's like, you understand you're on television. You're coming into people's homes. They don't want you to climb through the screen and shake them.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard the same thing. They were enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's a polite way of putting it. Yeah, crazed is also another way of describing it.
Manic? I don't know. You know they've got medication for this, right? Okay.
There should have been somebody standing just off camera with a dart gun.
All right. So Disney specifically says in the pre-show announcement, it's about Epcot's past and future. The Epcot Forever show opens. And we're going to talk here about the soundtrack for a little bit because I went through and wrote down what I thought was the source of different music tracks. So let's go through it real quick. I think it opens with a segment from the 1982 entrance music. It comes right before One Little Spark. And I'm like 99.9% sure it's 82 entrance music loop. Okay. Which is fantastic. Then it goes One Little Spark interspersed with Walt talking about what Epcot means or what Epcot meant when he was coming up with the idea back in the 60s. It switches to a little bit more 1982 entrance music. And again, for people like me who really like the 82 entrance music loop, it's a great way to begin. It goes into We've Just Begun to Dream, and then a clip from, I think, Horizons. It's actually the Horizons song, right?
Yep.
And then Universe of Energy. So between the original Epcot entrance, the original Journey into Imagination, the original Horizons, the original Universe of Energy, nothing exists that we've got to anymore, right?
Yeah. Lots of corporate theme songs. Anyway, keep going.
Then they go into Listen to the Land. And the thing I like about this, it's a great clip. It runs for a while, but they're doing like a Western music themed arrangement of it. Almost like something like from the Billy the Kid Suite from...
No, definitely.
Yeah. Fantastic arrangement there. Then they do New Horizons from Horizons. Yep. And this is where it gets a little... This is where I couldn't... correct me if I'm wrong on this one. There's a call out to Soren where the narrator goes, Soren to Tower. Yeah. But I think the background music is Tomorrow's Child.
A couple of times they do this over the course of the show. They want that 82 Epcot, but at the same time, they want to acknowledge the stuff that's actually working in today's present Epcot. So it's not all that long before they then shift over to Jerry Goldsmith's score for Soaring.
Right. And this is where the kites come on.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So these kites are, and I think we alluded to it in the subscriber shout out, but these are large kites pulled by all black wearing people on apparently black jet skis at night. Again, what could possibly go wrong? But the kites glow, like they're illuminated. I was going to say it's neon. It's not neon. It's like glow sticks or something like that, or LEDs. But they're huge. They're very colorful, all different colors, and they change colors as they go around World Showcase. So, Jim, we'd seen hints of this effect, but what did it look like to you on the live stream?
This is a plays best live in front of you show. Right. The poor folks who were trying to shoot this thing live and put it out over the Disney Parks live stream, the kites, they do these long shots and you'd have like this little teeny tiny, set of kites running across the bottom of the screen.
Right.
They didn't play necessarily well there. I mean, they're so much more effective later in the show with the effect you'll reveal as we get to that part of the show.
Right. what you said about it not showing well on video is exactly right. Mm-hmm. What I'd heard is that they were underwhelming on the live stream. In person, it makes much more sense, especially if you're close to the kites go all around the perimeter of World Showcase Lagoon. But where I was in Italy, the kites seemed exceptionally close.
By the way, if you talk with the folks at Walt Disney World Entertainment, they will tell you that the kites were actually a throwback to Skyliner, which was the first big, that was a daytime show out on World Showcase Lagoon from 85 to like 87. So they will get defensive about the show. They already are getting defensive about the show. But it's like, no, the kites, that's a tie back to our history. That's Kaleidoscope.
I figured that was the shout out. That was the connection. Yep. And even if it's not close enough, right?
Okay. Yep.
All right. So then from there, you mentioned they go to Soarin' Over California background music. So our time period at this point is 1982 to 2005.
Yep.
Right. Because it's the original Soarin'. Then it's Magic Journeys from the opening day film at the Imagination Pavilion. This is I think the pre-show to.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. The pre-show for the film. Then Tomorrow's Child again. So Tomorrow's Child is sort of like the connective tissue, I think, through some of this.
We're talking future, and the future are children. There's a lot of children's voices in this thing.
I will comment on that at the end, James.
Okay.
So for don't get me started.
Okay.
So from there, it does the Imagination, the original attraction song with a bit of the script though from the current attraction, and then Making Memories from the Magic Journeys pre-show. Again, the shout out to that. And I forgot, by the way, that Making Memories was a Sherman Brothers song.
Yeah.
So we're going way back in the Disney corporate history there. Then Veggie Fruit from Kitchen Cabaret, which was a crowd pleaser. I wonder, though, Jim, how many people who are visiting Epcot for the first time are going to understand any of that. Like, the entrance music is sort of generic. I mean, it fits all of Epcot. We've just begun to dream. Again, common theme throughout Epcot. Horizons, I get it. Universe of Energy, no one's going to get that. Listen to the Land, still there.
Yep.
Soarin', still there, right? But by the time we get to Veggie Fruit, that attraction hasn't existed for over a decade. My sense here is that people are going to connect this to Living with the Land, which is fine, close enough.
Yeah.
Right? I'm cool with that.
We then segue into It's Fun to Be Free from World of Motion, but they even go with an obscure mix on that one. This is the one that was done in the attraction in the style of Spike Jonze.
Yeah.
The musical comedian. They layer Veggie Fruit on top of It's Fun to Be Free as sort of a comic energy piece in the middle of the show.
Yeah. That was, so they go into a medley here of Veggie Fruit, Fun to Be Free. And it's a great version of Fun to Be Free from World of Motion.
It is, you know.
And then Imagination.
Yeah. I get the whole nostalgia thing, but it's just sort of like, who exactly is this for?
It's fan service, Jim. It's 1 year for Epcot fans.
Yeah.
And I completely get it. So when I said, that no first-time visitor is going to understand Veggie Fruit, that's okay, right? For a year, it's fine. All right, so we do the medley of Fun to Be Free. We do Veggie. We do Imagination. And then they go into sort of parade World Showcase. Tapestry of Nations by Gavin Greenaway. Everyone that I was with, and again, I'm with some hardcore Epcot fans, lost their minds.
Okay.
Right? Because it's the story, right? In Tapestry of Nations, it's there are no words, right? Gavin Greenaway specifically said he wrote the Hey Na, Hey Na, Hey Na lyrics to sound like a prototype language, but that didn't actually mean anything, right? Some sort of universal sort of language, if you will. Then they do Golden Dreams, which I guess you have to fit that in at some point from the American Adventure. You got to fit that in. I don't know that I would put it in between that and what's coming next, which is Celebrate the Future Hand in Hand and again, Tapestry of Nations. I love the arrangement of Celebrate the Future Hand in Hand. It's just putting that Golden Dream sandwiching between those and Tapestry of Nations was a little odd. It didn't not fit. It was fine.
I mean, it's Golden Dreams. I would have thought that would have taken up a much bigger chunk of the show. I mean, it's like kind of a nod quickly to Golden Dreams and then right into Celebrate the Future Hand in Hand, the Tapestry of Nations chunk.
It's a good point because Like I would have thought like going into it, I was trying to think of two things, right? One, how are they going to fit Test Track into the soundtrack? And the answer is they didn't.
Yep.
Right. Also, Mission Space didn't make the cut. And then the second thing was, what are they going to do with Golden Dreams? And I honestly thought Golden Dreams was going to be the finale.
Same thing here.
Okay. It wasn't. So they fit it in here.
Yep.
None of the other World Showcase countries got musical segments, which again, I can understand. Although I was holding out hope for a Gordon Lightfoot Canada tribute. Anyway, didn't happen.
Yep.
We're all the less for it. But they do a One Little Spark reprise. And then this is where the show gets strange.
Yeah.
The last 145 of the show, it's a 10-minute show.
Yeah.
Almost 1/5 of it is finale, which again, for a fireworks show, that's about right. So a minute 45 out of 10 minutes is the finale. The music they chose is A Whole New World from Aladdin. And I've got to say, this was the WTF moment for me in this show. This was the jarring, what is going on here? What am I listening to moment? What did you think of it at home?
I've actually been on the phone with someone from entertainment who walked me through this decision.
We may have actually spoken to the same person and not know it. We'll talk about that after the show.
Okay.
But I got a preview explanation of this.
Okay. So
from someone over the weekend who said, this is what you're going to hear and this is what we're going for. Go ahead.
Okay. So how many of you folks remember from Interventions of 1994, the Walt Disney Imagineering Lab?
The virtual reality thing.
That's it exactly. Okay.
Oh my God. All right. So do a quick explanation of this.
If you ever went to Disney Quest and rode the Aladdin's Magic Carpet ride, this is where they field tested Disney Vision, which was what that ride system was called at that point. And you got to do sort of a taste test about, that they'd pull a guest out of the audience, out of, say, 15, 20 people, and they'd strap on the VR helmet, and they could then fly through the Cave of Wonders.
Again, this was mid-90s.
Yeah.
Early prototype version of VR, virtual reality, with Disney. And you actually got on a prototype magic carpet and put on the headset.
Yep, that's it exactly.
And on a trip with my sister, my twin sister Linda, she actually did this in World Showcase. So I remember, I was right there watching it. I remember, God, it was hot that day. My God.
But again, it was only open for 2 years. As they were putting the show together and they began to sort of lay these theme songs that had all been selected by executives in the late 70s and 80s. And the thing is like, wow, these all sound a lot alike. And they're bringing this to Bob Chapek, and he's, talking about...
So let me just say, sounds alike and consistency are two sides of the same coin.
Well, okay.
Go ahead.
All right,
they sound consistent. So they bring it to Chapek. And by the way, this is exactly the story that I heard. So we
okay.
I know we haven't talked about it. We may have the exact same source here. Go ahead.
Okay, so we are launching a whole new future World Showcase. And, we have this tie to Aladdin. So we have a way in to this particular IP. And so let's do it. This is why this show ends this way. Trust me, within the next week or so, folks, especially given some of the pushback that Disney is already experiencing about the initial Epcot Forever, you're going to hear this story. You're going to see images of the Walt Disney Imagineering Lab again, because this was actually part of Epcot's, and again, this is a show about Epcot's past and future, and the Walt Disney Imagineering Lab was part of Epcot's past, so it's perfectly fair for us to use Aladdin music in this new nighttime show.
By the same token, we could now put Barbie Forever.
Oh, well, there we go. Okay.
In it. All right. So I think my feelings on this particular song selection are now well established. Overall, some basic notes on the show, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Number one, I never need to hear children singing ever again. Like, as a parent, let me just say that I fully understand the saying, children should be seen and not heard. And it starts with them singing. There's a reason, by the way, the person I was with turned to me while the kids were singing and says, there's a reason why children singing only appears in bad movies and horror films. And that's why. Also, having a child narrate the show infantilizes the original purpose of Epcot, which is celebrating imagination, enterprise, science, and technology. In other words, kids don't know anything about the purpose of Epcot, so the explanation of Epcot shouldn't come from children. Ever. Okay. Shouldn't happen. All right. Those are my complaints.
That's a great note.
Also, it wouldn't have killed them to do a 10-second shout out to Illuminations. I understand why they didn't, but it is part of Epcot and a classic part of Epcot. Yeah. Again, I understand why. We just heard the show last night. A lot of people would have been like, enough. Mm-hmm. I get it. But they can tweak the soundtrack, right? They can tweak the soundtrack. Overall, I'd give it a B+. Mm-hmm. I think the kites are interesting. They're a nice touch. The fireworks are solid. Mm-hmm. Most of the musical selections are pretty good. Like I said, some of those things are classic throwbacks. Like to open with the entrance music was something that I dared not hope for. Like to get that musical loop, because that entrance music is spectacular. They did Horizons, which I thought was going to be forgot. I love the Listen to the Land arrangement. I thought that was really good. So overall, yeah, B+, not bad. I definitely think I think Happily Ever After is still the standard now for nighttime stuff, but
definitely
might be my number 2. It's definitely not lower than number 3.
Okay.
What'd you think?
Well, couple of notes feeding off of this phone call with a creative. There's a reason that the Imagination song was sung by a child and they didn't use Dreamfinder or Figment. Because again, there's still a decision being made about whether or not Figment is, how big a role Figment is going to play in the Journey.
Figment, really?
Yeah. The Journey into Imagination Pavilion redo is for Phase 2 of Epcot, as we've discussed on earlier Disney Dish. And so there was a hard decision made to the effect of no Dreamfinder, no Figment.
Don't make promises. We might not be able to keep, right? So hold on. So my dessert party actually had Figment themed desserts. Oh. So tiny chocolate covered mousse things with Figment ears on them in the right shade of purple, I might add. Oh. Okay. Also, they did veggie fruit themed cupcakes. Oh. They did a tomato basil cupcake. And I know what you're thinking. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, no way, tomato basil cupcake. It was delicious. Wow. So let me just do a quick shout out. Whoever in Food and Bev did the dessert party stuff for last night. Fantastic job. A+. You all deserve rewards. It was exquisite. All of the food was appropriately themed and fantastic. Great job, Food and Bev. All right, go ahead.
Okay, putting the Walt audio in, very, very conscious choice, particularly in regard to the Dreamers Point statue that's going in. I mean,
that's coming in. Yeah.
Do you understand the positioning of that? They're literally putting that behind Spaceship Earth. So the idea is that, you can get your picture taken with Walt with Spaceship Earth looming over the both of you.
Oh, it's gonna be a great image. Yeah.
If you put Epcot Forever next to Illumination's Reflections of Earth. I mean, Illumination Reflections of Earth is a show about big ideas. That 19 centuries of progress, the new millennium. Epcot Forever is about a 37-year-old theme park.
Yeah. It's completely different ambitions.
Yeah.
So let's pause on this for a second, because the social media response to Epcot Forever last night was not good.
Yep.
I mean, it would be charitable to call it mixed. Mm-hmm. But the people that I was with, and again, some of them work for Disney, so let's go with that.
Yep.
Fairly pointed out that this is a one-year show.
Yep.
From the theme, it's fan service. Mm-hmm. It was never going to be, and we should never expect it to be, something like Reflections of Earth, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't in the budget. It wasn't what they have in mind, right? So the comparison is not apt. We should not do it. And knowing that, right? Knowing that it's a jukebox musical of a 37-year-old theme park, right? Puts it in a different context.
According to my friend in entertainment, this was a conscious choice. That there was a plan at one point to the effect of let Illumination's Reflections of Earth finish its 20-year run and then go into Harmonious. But the fear was to go straight from...
Oh, no. Yeah, no, the direct comparisons between the two.
Yeah. So...
And they're going to be stuck with Harmonious for years.
That's exactly.
Okay. So they need the transition. Yeah.
So the notion was that this became the palate cleanser. You drop the show in, you do something with a lot of sops to Epcot fans, and then out ahead of your 50th, you launch into Harmonious.
Not a bad idea, actually, from a project management perspective. From an expectations management perspective, not a bad idea at all.
But here's the problem, that because this decision was made relatively late and there have been so many years of development and money poured into what finally became Harmonious, there was not a lot of money for Epcot Forever. So in-house, this is kind of referred to as the Jungle Book Alive with Magic 2. We're making a decision. We have to move quickly to create this interim Epcot show. And don't get me wrong. I mean, they still went the 70-piece orchestra. They still went over to Abbey Road Studios and recorded. And Disney tried for a certain level of quality with this, but this was, in a lot of ways, a rush job. The story we shared last week about how this isn't a 6-month show. This actually is running for a full year.
It's definitely running for a year. So this is a third source that we have that you and I know together.
Yeah.
We're not going to mention anyone's name, but I don't expect to see our Harmonious before October 1st, 2020.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually a good point. From an expectations management perspective, to have an intermediate show, a throwaway show, if you will, between Reflections of Earth and Harmonious makes absolute sense. And it gives them more time to figure out what's going to work and what's not. So, I'm with it.
Obviously, we're coming up on holidays around the world. Supposedly, there will be an additional segment added to the show for the holiday season.
By the way, did you notice the quick shout out to the Illuminations holiday tag in Epcot Forever, where they did the red and green fireworks?
Oh, that's right.
And they talked about Spirit of the Season or something like that?
Yeah. Well, this will be that much more developed. And in much the same way as happened with Jungle Book Alive with Magic, that there are going to be meetings over the next week to 10 days about this is the response. Do we need to tweak? Or do we just bite the bullet and keep this in place the way it is for the next year? Because this show is supported with a lot of merch.
Lot of merchandise, Jim. A lot of Goodbye Illuminations merch.
Yeah.
A lot of Epcot Forever. And it looks good, though, actually.
It does all looks great.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I know a lot of the Goodbye Illumination stuff sold. I'm a little concerned about the Epcot Forever and how soon I can go over to the Character Warehouse.
Yeah, like when is this going to be a property control and I can get it for $4?
There we
go.
Stuff
like that. Derek Bergen will tell us.
That he will.
So, but overall, not a bad show. I'm going to go see it again tomorrow night.
Okay.
See if it looks just as good. I'm going to try different vantage points around World Showcase over the next couple of weeks and see what happens.
I'd love to hear if there's a sweet spot for this one. The problem of watching the live stream is just sort of look like a lot of really good new shells.
Yeah.
Good pyro. Yeah. Going to be interesting to see, say, a month or two down the line, if this is still the same version of the show, and if not, what tweaks they make.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep everybody up to date on it.
Okay.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for the Disney Dish show today. On next week's show, we're going to talk about the new Epcot Experience attraction at Epcot. Jim is going to review some changes to the Hoop-de-Doo script. We're going to go over Disney Cruise Line's new ship announcement. In the meantime, please head on over to disneydish.bandcamp.com, where you'll find exclusive shows never before heard on iTunes. We are produced fabulously by Aaron Adams, who's doing a triathlon next weekend. And by triathlon, I mean the hot wings, French fry, and ranch chugging contest at the Philadelphia Wing Festival in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Good luck, Aaron. Before you send in your entrance fee for that, go onto iTunes and rate our show and tell us what you'd like to hear next. For Jim, this is Len. We'll see you on the next show.